Ecclesiastes 9, verses 7 through 10. Go, eat your bread with joy, and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do. Let your garments be always white, let not oil be lacking on your head. Enjoy life with the wife whom you love, all the days of your vain life that he has given you under the sun, because that is your portion in life, and your toil at which you toil under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might, for there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, to which you are going. So number one, in verse 7, live with joy. He says to go and eat your bread with joy. That's one of the things that I have found it easiest to do. I guess if we had to look and say, what would be the easiest commandment in the Bible? You know, they asked Jesus what was the greatest commandments. If they said, Pastor Stephen, what is the easiest commandment for you to follow in the Bible? It would be this: go and eat your bread with joy. Because I can do that, right? I can eat my bread with joy. I can be happy when I sit down to eat. It's not good for me. I'm trying to lose weight and cut the carbs down, so I have to leave the bread off. I mean, it has been a whole week since I've had a Bojangles biscuit. And y'all know that is like a huge success for me to go that long, and we'll see how long I'll be able to stick with it. But he says to go and eat your bread with joy. Go and have joy in it, because what is it, the bread that you have, where did you get it? You got it from your toil, right? And he goes on and he says a little bit more about this in verses 9 and 10. But you worked hard for that bread, so enjoy it when you eat it. It's one of the things that I've said before. Tomatoes always taste good. Tomatoes that you have grown in your own garden taste better. Even if for a person that would be objective when they come in, they may say, your tomato was all right. But to you, it tastes great because you put all the work into it. And so here he says, go and eat your bread with joy. And then you want to talk about the struggle of the Baptist preacher to read the next part, to drink your wine with a merry heart. That'd probably, what in the world, drink your wine with a merry heart? Well, I mean, it's something else that you get with your toil. I don't think here that he's promoting drunkenness at all. I think if you go through, and maybe one day we'll do that, we'll go through and we'll talk about every time that the Bible says anything about alcohol, and you'll see that sometimes it seems like alcohol would be a good thing. Sometimes it seems like it would be a bad thing. Maybe we'll do that sometime, but it's really not necessary to have that discussion to understand this passage, because it's just, again, something else that you have, that you are drinking, you are doing it, and you're doing it happily, and you're doing it with joy. And he says, for God has already approved what you do. All right, God, if you're walking in God's will and doing that, God's approving it, and so then you can enjoy the fruits of your own labor. And you can enjoy what it is that God has given you. So that's the first thing that we want to do, is we want to live with joy. And then number two, we can wear what makes us happy. We can wear what makes us happy. Now, he says, let your garments always be white. Let not oil be lacking on your head. I have very oily hair. I have to wash my hair every day. If I don't, you could grease a pan with my hair that day. I get that, and that's just, I've always had it that way. I have to wash my hair every day, or it's just gets so oily. But that's not what he's talking about here again either. And he's really not talking about wearing what makes you happy, but there's some symbolism going on here. In Revelation, what does Jesus give those who overcome? He gives them what kind of robe? A white robe, right? A white garment. Right? And then also, what do they do when God has chosen a king? What does he do? He has someone come and anoint them and pour oil on their head. Right? So what he's saying here is be right in the eyes of God, so that you can have your garments be in white, and then also to be chosen by God, right? To have the oil on your head, to have the favor of God on your head. He says, so that's the way that you should live your life, and you should do it in a way that also glorifies God. because then your garments will always be white and oil will not be lacking on your head. And then finally, kind of tying all this together, enjoy the people in your life as a reward for toil. Because you can't enjoy life on this earth when you leave it. Now, life in heaven will be so much more enjoyable than life on this earth. But one of the things that we should do in the life that we have here is we should enjoy it. We should enjoy it. We shouldn't take ourselves too seriously. We should be willing to, have some fun and enjoy life a little bit. Have you ever met somebody that's they were just so serious all the time and they never could, that you think probably that it would crack their face if they smiled because they'd never smiled before in their life. They've never had any joy. They let everything just get to them and get to them and get to them. And they didn't enjoy any of the people that they were around. I don't want to be like that. It says to enjoy life with the wife whom you love. Right? Enjoy who you have with you. I have Martha with me. I enjoy life with her. We have a lot of fun together. We do a lot of stuff together. And even sometimes when we're just sitting around the house, that's some of the greatest times that we have. I remember probably what I've always thought the best vacation we ever went on, that it was just me and her. We didn't do anything super fancy. We stayed in a pretty fancy place. We went up, this was for one of our anniversaries, we went up to Grove Park and had my mom watch the kids for us. And so the kids stayed with my mom, and we went up there and we stayed for one night. I believe it was. We stayed for one night in the Grove Park Inn because it's not the cheapest hotel to stay in up there, but it was nice, and we got to stay up there. And we didn't leave the hotel the whole time that we were there. We were there in our rooms with the windows open because it was a mild December day, and read our books, or we were walking around going and looking at the gingerbread houses or whatever it is. But it was very enjoyable. It doesn't always have to be doing something for it to be enjoyable. It can be just enjoying time together. We have to enjoy what we've got now. We have to enjoy it because we've worked for it, and so now we get to enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the blessings that God has given us. He says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. For there's no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, the place of the dead, the holding place of the dead. That, I guess we could do a study on this sometime too, that Jesus has opened up and is no longer in use. And we could talk about that one day. But what he's saying here is after you die, you don't get any more knowledge of this earth. You don't have that earthly knowledge. You don't, the day after you die, you ever know anybody the day after they died, they went back to the office or back to the factory or back to the farm? Nope. Don't get to. So enjoy that. Enjoy that time. Work hard. Play hard. Love hard. Enjoy life. Enjoy your life. So I could say, if we look at all four of these verses and we put them together and we said we can only use two words to describe them, I think it's this: enjoy life. Enjoy it. Something to be treasured. I think life is really one of the greatest gifts that God's given us, and we do a kind of a disservice to Him when we don't enjoy it. Any comments or questions?